And now, the thrilling conclusion of Freaks Movie Reviews Top 10 Simpsons Treehouse of Horror segments
will not be shown tonight, so we can bring you this Itchy and Scratchy special.
Oh, I'm a mouse, and I'm a cat. Hey, do you like Freaks Movie Reviews? Oh yes, I subscribe to them immediately. I also joined them on Facebook and Twitter. Oh, now let's stop fighting and watch the rest of that Treehouse of Horror video.
Huh. That was a little weird. Anyway, we're back with number 6. Night of the Dolphin. Here's one that's a little more recent, from the 12th season, which I believe is the last one that's generally good. There aren't really bad episodes, but some tend to be a little boring. But fortunately the Treehouse of Horror episode isn't. The title, Night of the Dolphin, is a parody of Day of the Dolphin, which to this day remains to be the film to have the most ridiculous tagline ever made. This segment gets really close of becoming a real horror story on its own, mainly because it is really brutal and, well, just mean.
And only this old sea dog knows how to stop this.
If not for the jokes and good timing, this short would actually be quite horrific, which is why it's one of my favorite.
We have to stop them. If we speak in low-frequency voices, I don't think they can... Ow!
Jesus.
It already starts with the fact that Lisa's good intentions lead to really horrific consequences. She helps a dolphin named Snorky escape from a marine theme park, in a typical Free Willy way, because she feels bad for it. But as it turns out, Snorky is the leader for all the dolphins and swears revenge on the whole human race, planning to retake the land the dolphins once lived on and send the humans to the ocean.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
It's quite original to turn dolphins from lovable, cute animals into vicious killer monsters. Of course, this makes the killing scenes all the more brutal. It's refreshing to see unconventional animals be the monsters for a change. It doesn't always have to be sharks or snakes or whatever you call this. Think of what other unconventional animals would make for cool, silly movie monsters, like rabbits or something.
Night of the Lepus.
Okay, forget I said anything. Well, Night of the Dolphin does find a good balance between scary and ridiculous.
Anything to get out of work.
With some obvious wings to the birds. Alfred Hitchcock would have been so proud.
Willie, must you do that now? Ugh, you want streaks? 'Cause if you interrupt me, that's what you'll get.
Number 5. Time and Punishment. Countless times has time travel and its horrific implications been the inspiration for horror stories, but never has it been so hilarious as in this segment. When Homer attempts to repair a broken toaster, he accidentally creates a time machine, which zaps him straight to the Jurassic era, or as he calls it,
The time when dinosaurs weren't just confined to zoos.
Fortunately, he remembers the advice his father gave him on his wedding day.
If you ever travel back in time, don't step on anything, because even the tiniest change can alter the future in ways you can't imagine.
Of course he fucks up and alters the present in numerous and hilarious ways. First, he's in a universe where Ned Flanders is the unquestioned lord and master of a 1984-like world.
Idly ho, slaverinos!
Then he's in a world where Bart and Lisa are giants. It's a mess, and fun to watch.
I'll touch whatever I feel like!
You're just waiting to see what messed up universe is going to be next. And one is funnier than the other.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Especially when Homer thinks he hit the jackpot until...
Would you kindly pass me a donut?
Donut? What's a donut? It's raining again.
My only complaint of the short is that it's, well, a little short. But that's because the other two segments of the episode are equally good and deserve just as much screen time. I would have loved to see more crazy messed up worlds, but I guess it's good as it is. It's still a very creative and very funny episode. Let's just hope Homer finds his way home and doesn't alter any other timelines. And that's why I think Don't Stop Believing is one of the best Glee performances and is one of my favorites, so it well deserves a spot on this list. Wait, what just happened? Number 4. The Net Zone. So here's another one from a more recent episode. Treehouse of Horror 15 is from those seasons where I didn't hate it yet, but I already thought it was kind of... meh. But the Net Zone, however, stands out. When Ned gets hit in the head by a bowling ball, he receives the power to foresee people's death. All is well until he sees himself shooting Homer in the back. He refrains from doing so, despite Homer's taunting,
Ooh, I'm so scared! Ned Flanders is pointing a gun at me!
And changes the future for the worse. It's a parody of the Twilight Zone episode The Purple Statement, and of course Stephen King's The Dead Zone. And it's almost as funny as the movie version.
Any argument? The ice is gonna break!
Almost. The reason this segment made it so far on this list is because I think it's one of the funniest, if not the funniest, Treehouse of Horror short ever conceived. I'm serious, every single line of dialogue makes me laugh, and even though the story is based around Ned, it is Homer who completely steals the show.
But you're gonna kill us all!
But ice cream cake!
The only part I don't think is as strong is the very ending, in heaven. Spoiler alert. It's not that funny, but it's necessary, or the conclusion would be really, really dark. It is one of my favorites nonetheless.
Well, you can't fight fate, but if you must shoot our father, please remember our family motto, not in the face.
I don't get it. They should be here by now.
What are you gonna do?
Number 3. Dial Z for Zombies.
From A Apple to Z Zebra, Baby's first pop-up book is 26 pages of alphabetic adventure.
When Bart fails a book report, he stumbles upon an old book with magic spells. The only sensible thing to do is to try and... Hey, wait a minute. Rewind.
From A Apple to Z Zebra.
Shouldn't there be 52 pages instead of 26? Oh well. The only sensible thing for Bart and Lisa to do is to try and bring their dead cat Snowball 1 back from the dead, of course. But instead countless zombies rise from their graves and run amok Springfield.
There! Pretty as a picture! Ah! Zombies! There! Pretty as a picture!
By the way, the Michael Jackson album hat is a nice touch. This classic take on the zombie genre might be one of those few Treehouse of Horror shorts that actually manages to convey some truly dark moments. What I like about Dial Z for Zombies is how edgy some of the jokes get, treating us with some marvelous dark humor.
Dad, you killed the zombie Flanders!
He was a zombie?
It's awesome. Like I said in my top 10 favorite horror movies video, I don't think zombies were ever meant to be taken that serious. For me, the genre works best when the dark tone is approached from an ironic angle. And this short proves that even a ridiculous parody can still convey a nice atmosphere for a zombie apocalypse story. The zombies themselves are largely based on the classic zombie films, most notably Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero. They even adopted the typical angle shots for drama. But I never really understood how the zombies wanting to eat brains became such a trope in zombie culture. As far as I know, Return of the Living Dead is the only movie that features zombies going for the brains.
Why do you eat people?
Not people. Brains.
Why?
It makes the pain go away.
But I don't think that movie is that well known. So I may be wrong here, and I probably am, but I believe the Simpsons used the brain eating as a spoof of Return of the Living Dead, and so they are the ones who really introduced this cliché, which is awesome considering that a mere parody contributed to the zombie lore. Probably. It just goes to brains, show how great this Brains segment is. Brains!
Well, I'm sure glad we didn't turn into mindless zombies.
Shh! TV!
Man, fall down. Funny.
Number 2. Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. Another great parody is the Simpsons' take on the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It seems a lot of spoofs seem to give Homer a central role, which is why I applaud the choice of making Groundskeeper Willie the monster for a change. He makes for a good and even intimidating Freddy Krueger, also spewing corny catchphrases and committing absurdly inventive murders.
You've mastered a dead tongue, but can you handle a live one?
Like the original, Willie kills kids off in their dreams, seeking revenge because of negligence of the parents, and mostly Homer, at the school meeting, which is by far the funniest part of the segment.
Our next budget item, $12 for doorknob repair.
Nay.
We charge fire extinguishers. Now this is a free service of the fire department.
Nay.
It is up to Bart and Lisa to try and fight back before they get killed as well.
Oh, just get it out of here. Not into the kindergarten.
Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace has a lot of great classic jokes, but the reason I like it so much is because, just like Night of the Dolphin and Dial Z for Zombies, it does manage to create some real horror moments. The shot when Riley rises up from the sandbox always gives me the chills. Also, this short is one of the more visually interesting. The dream sequences are really well animated and have a sweet color scheme. And finally, it has the greatest quote by Grandpa in the whole series.
The next time you fall asleep, we could die.
Welcome to my world.
For that joke alone, this segment well deserves the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
Number 1. Dead and Shoulders. Dead and Shoulders is a parody of one of the greatest and most underrated comedies of all time, The Thing with Two Heads, which is one of my favorite movies.
Hey man, are we smoking while I'm eating?
The idea of sewing Bart's head on Lisa is truly comedy gold. Every single joke is so great and memorable that No, I'm just kidding, of course. That segment was shit. My favorite Treehouse of Horror segment is, of course, the shitting. I know, it's not a surprise. I'm sorry, but come on, it's just so good. Who could have thought a parody of The Shining, one of the scariest horror movies ever made, could be so hilarious?
David Letterman! Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
It is so funny. Every single line has a joke or a clever reference to the original movie. It's just so great. Homer has been put in the center of the story again as the role of Jack Torrance, but this time it's completely warranted. The idea that he would go crazy when there's no beer or TV is so funny and believable at the same time. It's like it was bound to happen one time or another. Just like Jack Nicholson, Homer looks like one of those people who can snap at any minute.
See you later.
Mom, is Dad gonna kill us?
We're just gonna have to wait and see.
All he needs is a little push. And his TV and beer supply being cut off. It's also amazing how much of the original story they managed to fit in 7 minutes. The bartender ghost, played by Mo, Halloran, played by Groundskeeper Willie.
You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
There's the typewriter, the maze, the blood from the elevator. They even intended for Sherry and Terry to play the creepy twins, but it was cut from the episode.
That makes me a sad panda.
I think no one will debate that The Shining is the best Treehouse of Horror segment ever made, even when you've not seen or read The Shining. It's an amazing parody, and most of all, it's amazingly funny. It's almost as funny as the Shining miniseries.
Boink. Wrong!
Almost. And most of all, it teaches us one important lesson, that beer and TV are the only things keeping us sane.
To alcohol! The cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
So So that is it for the top 10 Treehouse of Horror segments. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of Freaks Movie Reviews, don't hesitate to like and subscribe, or join us on the Facebook and the Twitter. More videos about horror stuff are sure to follow. Make sure to stay tuned for our next videos, which will cover werewolf movies. That is right, the next month will be Werewolf Month. So go get yourself some silver bullets and tune in next week for our first episode. Thanks for watching. Freaks out.
Can you believe it, Kodos? They left us out of the Halloween show.